Okay guys, so I have this plane plugged in on a 3-cell 2200 mAh battery pack, and then on my second flight, if everything goes well, I'm going to move on to a 4-cell. So I did forget to mention that this plane, I did buy this as a PNP. There is a bind and fly basic option. However, we did have receivers laying around, so we did get the plug and play version. And I do have a little 6-channel AR631 Plus, but I do not have the safe configured. So I just have the AS3X Plus. We'll see how it feels. If I don't like the AS3X Plus, we'll just take it out. But everything is going the right way. Left, right, up, down, left, right. So I'm going to toss it at maybe like 50% throttle. I'm going to launch it near the CG. Very, very easy to launch. You know, I was worried that it would be kind of difficult to launch it. But I mean, it's a glider. At heart, it's a glider. It is a glider. So there is a little elevator trim that I need to put on it. Feels very smooth. Let's go up. This color scheme is very, very visible. You're clear. It kind of looks like Coast Guard. We have a pilot landing, so I'm gonna let him land, and then we can see if we can take the runway all to ourselves. So, guys, this feels very, very smooth. The rates feel really, really nice. I am on low rates. Let's go to high rates. Okay, you don't get too much elevator deflection. You do get a lot of rudder deflection. Okay, on my next pass, I'm gonna go full throttle. I am just cruising at like 50% power right now. Let's speed things up. Let's go. Okay, it seems like, ooh. The elevator really likes to move when you go full throttle. So I have to pay attention to the pitch. See if I can go lower. I'm actually gonna go on low rates. I feel like the elevator gets too responsive, kind of. Okay. Let me fly center now. So on 3S, it's actually not too fast. I mean, this is 100 miles per hour. But it's very, very controllable. And I just want to test. I'm going to go kind of high up, not too high. I want to see its glide path because this is also a glider. So I'm cutting throttle. And what I want to test is how long it takes before I have to repower. So you can see it has a pretty nice glide path. It's just going straight. I do have to keep up on my elevator. I'm keeping my elevator up, and you can see I'm sinking. But, okay, I'm gonna power up. You know, it's a heavy glider because it does have a ridiculous power system in it. But it's nice to know that if something happens with the power system, something fails, you have more than enough glide path to get down safely. So I'm gonna go full throttle again. Nice. It's very fun coming out of that curve. Now, I won't fly this pack for too long. just because I am on a 3-cell battery. And I actually did forget to set my timer. Let's try a loop. Nice roll. Let's go inverted. Okay, I'm gonna do a slow inverted pass. I do notice that when I am inverted, I need to keep my power up. When I go inverted, there is a tendency to push the nose down. But this is a very, very cool airplane. So I'm gonna start landing soon, and then we'll go on to the 4S, which I'm super excited to see. But a very interesting thing is, when I go full power, then push my nose up, it's much more responsive. It's very, very poppy. And it's kind of, honestly, it's kind of disorienting going from the slow speed to the high speed. So I'm gonna circle around me. I hope my prop doesn't get obliterated when I land this thing. I'm clear behind me. I'm just gonna pop the plane up. Okay, yeah. Very long landing radius. Alright, so that was my maiden flight on the E-flite Electrostreak, and that again was on a 3-cell 2200 mAh battery pack. It feels very locked in and it's super manageable even at 100 miles per hour. This 3-cell 2200 is super, super manageable. So yeah, I'm very happy with this, so let's move on to 4-cell. Alright guys, so I have the Electrostreak plugged in on a 4-cell battery this time. Let me put my throttle cut on. And I'm going to show you the battery quickly. So undo the latch. So this is where the battery goes. You can see my nose is kind of dirty now from the landing. But that's as far back as we go. We try to push it back further, but that's as far as it goes. And we checked the CG and it seems really good. The CG, if I forgot to mention, but the CG, there's these two lines. And it's this first one. It's not the spar, it's the first one. And right there seems to be okay. So I'm excited. Let me see how powerful it feels now. Okay, that's powerful. So let's go. Whew. Okay. All right. So I did reset my trim because I did not know how much the CG would change. Oh, that's beautiful. It creates very large lines because, I mean, yeah, you're gonna need a lot of space to fly on 4S. It turns fast. The CG, it feels like, it might be the thrust angle, but it feels like it shifts slightly when I go full throttle. Definitely a tendency to push the nose down when I go full throttle. But man, this is such a beautiful airplane. I have more than enough elevator authority to do negative G maneuvers. Let's go vertical. This thing just takes up so much space in so little time. And it makes a really awesome whistling sound. Let me go full throttle downwards, and then I'm gonna cut the throttle and let's listen to that whistle. Okay, a little more elevator trim. very little throttle required now to fly my airplane inverted. On the 3S, you needed around 40% throttle to get it inverted because you do need enough power to keep it afloat. Because look, if I go inverted here, this is just an example. If I go inverted here and let go of the stick, look, it pushes the plane downward. So that might be a CG issue, but the CG is perfect. That just might be the design of the airplane. It's probably just designed to go straight. But it's capable. It's not a 3D machine by any means, but it's just very nice flying straight and doing these circles. This would be a really cool pylon racer if we had pylons. I mean, the sound it makes is insane. This is 130 miles per hour, guys. And then this is 0% power, just cruising. The wind rejection on the AS3X is doing pretty well right now. Like I said, AS3X plus no safe select. Let's go kind of slow. Nice slow pass. Yeah, it has a very, very nice range of speed. I mean, you can go that slow and that's barely any power. And then of course, if you go high enough, you can go no power. This plane might be a little too heavy to find a thermal with. But it's a very, very nice plane. And I did forget to mention that this plane does have optional flaperons and spoilerons. And to configure that, you use the two other extension leads that Horizon gives you. And right now, my ailerons are set up on a single channel with the Y harness. And because of that, I won't be able to get any flaperons. However, if you do set up on the ailerons on each individual ports, you're going to have flaperons and spoilerons, which I think I might do in the future because landing this thing is a challenge because of how fast it goes and how much area it covers in such little time. So I'm going to do a couple more passes. I'm not going to fly for too long because I did not set my timer. I keep forgetting. I don't want to blow my batteries up. So here's a fast pass. It's fun going full throttle, and then when you go into the turn, you lower your throttle to 0. It creates a very fun effect. And you can see the motor braking. Here, let me try and demonstrate the motor braking a little more. So the motor doesn't really freewheel. You can see here, I cut the power, and then the propeller is stopped, just like that. So let's do one more fast pass. I'm gonna go full vertical. I'm telling my dad my flight plan so he can catch it. I'm gonna go do a fast pass and I'm gonna go vertical, and then I'm gonna land over us, but on the right side, because that's where the wind is going. I want to land into the wind. So here we go. All right, let's just bleed off some speed. And I'm gonna land on this side. There's nobody there. Very nice flight path. And flare. Oh, did not flare, but good enough landing. Alright, so that was my second flight on the Electrostreak on the 4S, and the power on the 4S is it's ridiculous. 130 miles per hour is so fun to fly. And of course on this plane you don't have to fly at full power all the time because you have a wide variety of speeds, which I demonstrated. You can fly super slow on this airplane and it still flies just fine. The only thing I would watch out for is, like I said, if you flip this airplane inverted, it's going to have a tendency to push the nose down a lot. So you're going to want to keep your speed up just a little bit, experiment with it, and then you want to just have constant down elevator so it pushes the plane up. So that's pretty much it. So I guess the problem with not flaring it is that you're going to get a bunch of dirt in the nose because it just goes straight into the dirt. But that's pretty much it. So thanks for tuning in to John's RC. And if you're new to this channel, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Bye guys, I'll see you in the next one. Hey guys, John here, and welcome back to John's RC. And check this out, this is the E-Flight Electrostreak 1.1 meter airplane. Now this actually came out 4 months ago, and it didn't really pique my interest back then, but now I've recently been really wanting a new glider, but I've also been craving speed. So I'm hoping this plane is a good blend between the two, but I have a feeling it might be more speed than glider. If you're not familiar with the E-Flight Electrostreak, this is actually one of E-Flight's fastest prop-driven airplanes yet. So you can see here, it looks like a glider, but then you have this really cool front-mounted prop, and this plane will deliver speeds of 100 miles per hour on 3S and 130 miles per hour on 4S. Now I'm going to be using a 3S and 4S for my flights, one of each, and this is a really easy to assemble plane, but there is some other things like shooting the wires through here to get the thing to seat properly, and you know, here it just needs a single screw. So you can see here on the bottom, you just slide the tail through, and then there's a single Phillips screw on the bottom of the fuselage, and then the manual wants you to loosen this Phillips screw to put in the link, but we just use balling pliers to push in the little clevis. And then for the wing, it's just 2 screws, the longer ones in the front and shorter ones in the back, to get the plane to seat properly. So this is the canopy layout. So the way they want you to do this is the fully locked position. So you can see here I can't pull on it, but if you just turn it 90 degrees, you'll be able to lift up the plane. So I already have a little battery in here. This is a Spectrum 3-cell 2200 mAh battery pack, and I'm going to be using a 3S 2200 and a 4-cell 2200 for my flights. The manual says that you can use from an 1800 to 2200 on both ranges. So I have this thing bound to my Spectrum NX7, and we can see here, just plug it in. Okay, so this is fully plugged in. So you can see I do have 4-channel control on this airplane. So I have my aileron control, my elevator, and my rudder. And you can see here, this is the throttle. It's surprisingly very quiet for a plane that's supposed to go super fast. So yeah, I'm curious about how the prop is going to work on landing on this plane. I assumed that this plane was going to have a folding prop. However, I think that when you're spinning a motor that fast, the folding propeller might just break away. So I hope this is durable enough, so we'll see. And yeah, really quick, the specifications on this airplane. This model has a wingspan of 1100 millimeters, and it has a length of 938 millimeters. And the manual says that with a 4-cell 2200 mAh battery pack, it's going to have a flying weight of around 1100 grams. So I'm pretty excited. I'm going to be maidening this thing on a 3-cell battery, and then we're going to go up to a 4S on the second flight. Let's go.